This is my audience, my recorder. These are my notes. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Santiago Real, and I know you're all wondering why I brought you here tonight. I know you're all like, what is Santiago got for me to say this time? Okay, I know I called you all up and I told you it's going to be interesting. Alright, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to save you gas. Save you gas money. Alright, because if I would have just told you it was for just a presentation, all of you would have been like, hell no, I don't want to waste gas to see Santiago do a speech tonight. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to save you gas. That was a joke, by the way. All of you can laugh at. Alright, so tonight I'm going to tell you all how you can save gas. I'm going to give you 4 different options. I'm going to give you 4 different options through my research that I did. I got some graphs here that I'm going to show you through statistics, regular usage, from commute to work, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let me tell you what this is about. After the automobile invention and after Henry Ford invented the first affordable motor vehicle, it was the American Revolution. It was a Model T. That's the car that he invented, the Model T Ford, correct? Henry Ford, Model T. Y'all remember? I know you do. It helped out everybody commute, transport to work in the most efficient manner. Okay? It was perfect. It strengthened the economy. It opened up new jobs, new positions for everybody to start working in. And now we are so efficient on oil for our motor vehicles that we use more fuel than Russia, Canada, UK, and France all put together. All of them put together, we use more fuel than all of them put together. It's a little bit hard to understand, it's a little bit hard to believe, because when I first read it, I couldn't believe that. Okay? United States only presents 5% of the world population, but we use 25% of the world's supply of fuel. Okay? Now, according to fueleconomy.gov, okay, according to fueleconomy.gov, it says that the regular 4-door sedan, the regular 4-door sedan uses 19 miles per gallon, which is equal to the same thing as the Nissan Altima. And that is based on $4 regular price gasoline and 15,000 miles. You could all probably use a little bit less or a little bit more in miles, but this is based on $4 average gasoline. And if y'all commute in Miami, around this area, it's all about $4.15 starting off. So what I'm just saying is it's $4 based on $4 average, 15,000 miles. The Nissan Altima uses 19 miles per gallon. In 1 year, you'll be spending $2,942. Okay? Now, if I compare that also to the Honda Civic, another 4-door sedan, it uses 26 miles per gallon. That's $2,111 in 1 year. Okay? $2,111 in 1 year. I also did the hybrid cars, also according to fueleconomy.gov. These stats and numbers are all coming from fueleconomy.gov. Nissan Altima Hybrid. The Nissan Altima Hybrid uses 35 miles per gallon. In 1 year, you'll be spending $1,789. And that's compared to the Nissan Altima. The Nissan Altima Hybrid is $1,789. And the Nissan Altima, the regular 4-door sedan, is $2,942. The Honda Civic Hybrid spends $1,457 in 1 year, and the Honda Civic regular 4-door sedan spends $2,111. Now, is this all worth it? Because the hybrids actually cost $5,000 more than the average counterpart. So if y'all put your math together, you won't be really paying itself for the car or saving much money in 1 year, right? This comes to my next, okay, you can put that down, thanks. So my next topic is the public transportation. If y'all want to save some gas, you can definitely use some public transportation. Driving bus, on a Metro bus, the Metro bus pass here in Miami is $75 a year, okay? Now I added some extra cash for parking space, so on and so forth. The public transportation in 1 year is $1,000. $1,000. And I have a second graph here to show you. and I did the comparisons. I have a public transportation here at $1,000 for 1 year, and that equals to the Metro Bus Pass. The average sedan here, we go back to the Nissan Altima, is $2,942. Now let me tell you some pros and cons about public transportation, okay? In public transportation, the pro, you can actually relax, stretch out. You're tired from coming home from work, you know, so you want to relax, stretch out. You know, you don't really want to do much driving. So on your way to the house, you get to relax a little bit. But if you're like me, the con, I guess, could be if you fall asleep because, you know, you're too relaxed and you're like, you know. And so once you get, you're like, hey, you wake up, you're like, oh my God, I just passed my bus stop. You're like 10 blocks. Well, I guess you can get some exercise too along the way, but that's not pretty much a pro, you know what I'm saying? So the con also is you can have a large cargo, you go shopping, ladies, you know, you go to Macy's, Bloomingdale's, I don't know how much money you have, but I ain't got that much money, so I don't go to Macy's at all right? But the con, if you do a lot of shopping and you have a lot of bags, or, you know, you gentlemen do some construction work or whatever, you buy some wood, you know, then you can't put that wood in that Metro bus, you know what I'm saying? So I guess that's one of the cons that we'll have there, you know. As I did another comparison, and that's the scooters. The scooters have been, you know, getting more publicity, you know, more popularity right now in the urban areas, especially with high traffic areas, less parking spaces. You know, you go to South Beach, you're like, man, I wish I could find a parking space for my Honda Accord, right? And you're like, damn, if I had a scooter, I could park it right here next to the beach. And next to the club, you'll be like, I'm straight now. Well, look, I also did the comparison in an annual year, 1 year. Scooters get 80 to 90 miles per gallon. I know that's a little bit hard to believe in comparison to that Nissan Altima, which only gets 19 miles per gallon. But if you do 80 to 90 miles per gallon on an average scooter, right? And that depends on usage and terrain, then you will use $750 in 1 year. $750 in 1 year. Now look at this graph here. You can just visually see how much in comparison you're saving. You know, public transportation is $1,000. Scooter is $750. Average sedan is $2,942. You know, so the scooter itself, you'll be saving money. Boom, right there in your first year. You'll be paying your scooter off in your first year. I know that sounds pretty wonderful. And after I did my personal research, I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy my scooter. That's it, like tomorrow. You know, as soon as I get my $1,000, I'm gonna buy a scooter and save a bunch of money because it's like more than $1,000 difference. All right. In conclusion, let me just conclude this with, according to the book, 365 Ways to Gas, let me give you some tips on how you can save some gas money. Is shop where you feel most of your needs. Walmart Supercenter, you know, BJ's. They got a bunch of stuff. You all go shopping there and you buy everything from wine to beer to...
Go to the laundry.
Thank you. Toilet paper, blah, 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 whatever, you know. You get everything in one store instead of going to 3 or 4 different places, you know. I personally just go to Walmart and get everything, including the liquor, you know what I'm saying? So, also, if you drive a car and you refuse to drive public transportation or what so, go ahead and do a regular inspection on your vehicle. Because if you have bad transmission fluid, bad oil, your tires are low, that all affects your miles per gallon, okay? So do a basic inspection on your vehicle. One more the last one is bicycle or walking. You know, to get those buns shaped up, you know what I'm saying? Do a lot of walking.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And then do a little bicycling and you'll get shaped up and get, you know, save some money. Y'all have a good night.